For most people working in San Francisco's financial district, Monday mornings were gloomy, but not for Melissa Johnson. She had promised herself she would walk into the office with her head held high, at least as long as no wrinkles had formed from stress. Staring at her faint reflection on the dark computer screen, she took a deep breath. Today was different. Today, the engagement ring James had slipped onto her finger sparkled like a secret promise. She picked up her phone and called her mother. "Mom, I have something important to tell you." Her mother, Barbara, answered with her usual tension, her voice tight, as if she were always performing for an invisible audience. "I can't talk long. I'm swamped preparing for Victoria Hilton's garden party. You know, the most influential woman in town." Melissa closed her eyes. Of course she knew. Barbara said those 4 words, most influential woman, almost weakly. It wasn't about influence. It was about the fantasy world her mother lived in. "I understand," Melissa said softly. "Mom, I got engaged. James asked me to marry him." There was a long silence, followed by a cold laugh. "Oh, to that real estate agent? Melissa, you always sell yourself short. Vanessa is dating a lawyer, a promising lawyer." Melissa looked at the little succulent on her desk, the first gift James had ever given her. "James is a good man. I'm happy with him." "Happiness is temporary," Barbara replied flatly. "I never imagined you'd become the biggest disappointment in this family. But, do what you want." When the call ended, something twisted sharply in Melissa's chest. The old familiar sting. Criticism, comparison, disapproval, again and again. Still, she had chosen a different life, and she intended to keep choosing it. That evening, she went to see her sister, Vanessa. The apartment overlooked the Manhattan skyline, glittering like a world she had never belonged to. Vanessa swirled her wine with a smirk that could freeze the warmest room. "Engaged? To him?" she said. "You really aim low, Melissa." "I love James," Melissa replied, glancing at framed photos of Vanessa's daughter, Sarah. Vanessa laughed. "Love is just brain chemistry. It fades." She stepped toward the window and gestured at the city lights. This is real love, success, ambition." Then she turned, her beauty twisted with disdain. "You keep comforting yourself with that word, happy. But face it, your man sells houses. I've always done better. You could've, too." "I know," Melissa said quietly. "We hear about your success every day." Something flickered across Vanessa's face, shame, or something close to it. "I didn't mean to hurt you," she said. "I just think you deserve more." But when Melissa tried to show her the engagement ring, Vanessa barely glanced at it. "Show me later." Her brother, Brian, greeted her with a hug outside his surf shop in sunny San Diego. His freedom always felt like something she could never touch. "Congrats," he said warmly, then stepped back, distant. "But I get what Mom and Vanessa are saying." Melissa stared at the waves. "You too?" "I just mean, what's special about James?" "He loves me. Isn't that enough?" Brian shrugged lightly. "We're the Johnsons. We should aim higher." The way he said it, as if they were royalty, made Melissa laugh bitterly. They were just an ordinary middle-class family, but her mother's obsession with status had seeped into all of them. Meeting James's parents was the opposite of everything she had been raised with. His mother, Abigail, hugged her warmly. "I'm so glad you chose James," she whispered. That night in her hotel room, Melissa stared at her ring and cried. Why couldn't her own family be happy for her? Still, there was hope. On her wedding day, maybe they would show up. Maybe they would finally see her happiness and understand. She sent out the invitations with trembling hands. June sunlight poured into the wedding venue like golden ribbons. Melissa stood in her gown, glowing with a mixture of nerves and hope. "They'll come," she whispered, staring at the empty family seats in the front row. Jessica, the wedding planner, tried to reassure her. "Probably traffic. Don't worry, they'll get here." James entered in a white tuxedo, worry in his eyes. "Your family still hasn't called?" Melissa shook her head. "I'll try one more time." She dialed Vanessa first. "Where are you?" Melissa asked brightly, trying to stay cheerful. "The ceremony is about to start." Vanessa laughed, a cold, cruel sound. "Oh, was that today?" Melissa froze. I sent the invitation. I confirmed weeks ago. Well, Vanessa said, you'll probably be divorced soon anyway. It's a waste of time. Melissa's breath caught. What? Mom agrees. Someone like you can't have a happy marriage. Melissa hung up without another word. Her call to her mother was worse. I'm in Paris, Barbara said airily. Champagne, Eiffel Tower, lovely view. I'm not wasting my time on your little wedding. Mom. No one cares about your marriage, especially not with that. What was his name again? James? Melissa hung up. Her last hope was Brian. I'm sorry, he said. There's a surfing competition today, and if Mom and Vanessa aren't going, I'm not going either. The world tilted. James held her as she trembled. My family is your family now, he whispered. Let's move forward. The ceremony went on. Melissa walked down the aisle escorted by James's father, Robert. After the vows, he stood and announced, from today, Melissa is a cherished member of the Hamilton family, and those who have hurt her will answer for it. Melissa blinked. Hamilton family? James whispered. My father is the CEO of Hamilton Enterprises. I'm taking on a major role soon. Melissa nearly gasped. Why didn't you ever tell me? I wanted you to love me, not the name. His mother embraced her. You are valuable, and those who abandoned you will regret it. Melissa kissed James, tears in her eyes. A new beginning. And a small spark of revenge. 6 months later, everything had changed. Melissa stood in her office on the top floor of Hamilton Tower, overlooking the city. She was now the head of public relations, confident, poised, transformed. A young assistant knocked. They're ready for your interview. Downstairs, a news crew waited. The reporter's eyes widened as Melissa introduced herself. As Mrs. Hamilton, can you tell us about the company's new community program? She asked. Melissa smiled gently at the camera. Life takes unexpected turns. I was abandoned by my own family on my wedding day, but I learned what real family means. The reporter gasped softly. Melissa continued. Our new program supports people who've suffered emotional abuse or neglect. Family isn't about blood. It's about those who choose to stand beside you. The interview went viral nationwide. The next morning, Melissa found an email from Vanessa. Dear Melissa, I saw the news. I had no idea you held such a position. Why didn't you tell me? I'm sorry about that day. I really was planning to come, but I had an important meeting. How are you? Looking forward to hearing from you. Vanessa. Melissa read the email twice. Her lips curved into a calm, unreadable smile. Then she laughed quietly, a lie. On her wedding day, Vanessa had said, you'll probably be divorced soon anyway. Melissa chose not to respond. A week later, a friend called her. Melissa, you won't believe this. Your mom has been keeping her distance from her friends since coming back from Paris. Everyone's asking her, I saw your daughter on TV, a corporate executive's wife. Is it true you skipped the wedding? Melissa didn't answer. But inside, a small, warm satisfaction bloomed. At the same time, things began to change for Vanessa. At the luxury boutique where she worked, customers started approaching her. Aren't you the sister of that Hamilton woman? Why didn't you go to her wedding? Soon, fewer customers came to see her. The store manager's glances grew colder. Brian faced consequences too. His surf brand sponsor suddenly ended his contract. We can't associate with anyone causing trouble for Hamilton Enterprises, they told him. Barbara stopped receiving invitations to social gatherings. Vanessa lost her job. Brian lost his sponsors. The three of them were sinking, socially, financially, and emotionally. One evening, Melissa's phone lit up. Vanessa. Melissa hesitated, then answered. Melissa? Vanessa's voice was shaky, stripped of its usual chill. I saw you on TV. You're amazing, by the way. Melissa cut her off. You thought my wedding was a waste of time because I'd be divorced soon, remember? Well, I'm happily married. Did you need something? No, I just wanted to check on you, Vanessa attempted. Melissa's voice was soft, but sharp. Really? Or is there something you want from Mrs. Hamilton? Silence. Then the call disconnected. Melissa set her phone down and gazed out at the San Francisco skyline, the same as 6 months ago. But she wasn't the same woman anymore. She was no longer the daughter who bowed under her family's criticism. No longer the sister seeking approval that never came. She was someone who had rebuilt herself. James wrapped his arms around her from behind. No regrets? Melissa leaned into him and smiled. No, this isn't revenge. This is justice, the world simply seeing the truth. 1 year later, Melissa and James were living in a mansion in an upscale San Francisco suburb. Standing by the window, she watched the flowers sway gently in the garden. A year ago, she had married without her family by her side. The pain was still there, but it no longer ruled her. James came up behind her and slipped an arm around her shoulders. Thinking about the past? Melissa smiled faintly. I was remembering our wedding. You've grown so strong. She nodded, still staring outside. Yes, but sometimes I wonder how they're doing. James hesitated, then said quietly, Do you want to know? She looked at him. You know something? I had them investigated, he admitted softly. I wanted to protect your happiness. He handed her a folder. Inside were detailed reports. Barbara, ostracized by society, forced to move into a small apartment. Vanessa, unemployed, bouncing between short-lived jobs, now living in a worn-down apartment in a small town. Brian, drowning in debt after losing all his sponsors, sleeping on a friend's couch. So much, Melissa whispered. James held her hand. They hurt you, now they're facing consequences, that's all. Melissa touched her forehead to the cold window. Is this really what I wanted? Only you can answer that, James said gently. The visit. Later that afternoon, a caretaker approached her in the garden. Mr. and Mrs. Johnson are here to see you. Melissa froze for a moment. Let them in. In the living room stood Barbara, Vanessa, and Brian. They were almost unrecognizable. Barbara's hair had turned completely white. Vanessa's once perfect face was tired and worn. Brian looked thin and defeated. It's been a long time, Barbara said with a shaky smile. Melissa offered them seats with calm politeness. Would you like something to drink? No, Vanessa said quickly. We just. Do you need something? Melissa asked with quiet strength. Barbara inhaled shakily. Melissa, help us, please. My friends won't talk to me. I've lost everything. Vanessa added, trembling. No one will hire me. Everyone knows I'm the sister who didn't go to the Hamilton wedding. Brian lowered his head. I'm drowning, sis. Debts, no sponsors, no job. Melissa folded her hands. I see. And what exactly do you want me to do? We want you to use your influence, Barbara pleaded. Just one word from you could fix everything. Melissa's voice turned cold. Oh, but you told me not to bother you with trivial matters, remember, Mom? Barbara's face crumpled. I'm sorry. If I had known you married into such a powerful family. Melissa cut her off. So if you'd known about James's family, you would have attended my wedding. Silence. Their silence was an answer. What do you think family is? She asked. Blood ties, Barbara whispered. No, Melissa's voice was steady. Family is the people who stand by you, who value you. She took a breath. I forgive you. Their eyes widened. But forgiveness isn't the same as trust, she continued. Trust has to be rebuilt. Go home. When you're ready to act like real family, come back. Vanessa whispered. But what about our situation? Melissa's voice remained calm. You're adults. Accept the consequences of your choices. They left, ashamed and silent. Melissa watched their car disappear down the driveway, her emotions tangled, sorrow, closure, and a bittersweet sense of justice. James entered quietly. You okay? It was hard, but necessary, she said softly. And it's not the end. What do you mean? True strength is forgiving, she murmured. But trust takes time. For them, and for me. 5 years later, Christmas. Melissa and James's garden sparkled with Christmas lights. Their 3-year-old daughter, Elizabeth, twirled around in a red velvet dress. Melissa had become vice president of Hamilton Enterprises, and had founded a charity supporting struggling families. "Mom, when are Grandma and the others coming?" Elizabeth asked. Melissa stroked her hair. "Soon, sweetheart." The doorbell rang. Barbara stood there first. Gone was the arrogance. In its place was humility and love for her granddaughter. Next came Brian, healthier, responsible, now working steadily at a subcontractor company. Then Vanessa, softer, calmer, running a small hair salon in a quiet town. The dinner table glowed with warm light, but underneath it all was a fragile tension. Near the end of dinner, Barbara stood up, voice trembling. "Melissa, I was a terrible mother. I hurt you, but I'm proud of who you've become. You don't have to forgive me. I just needed to say it." Silence filled the room. Melissa gently took her mother's hand. "We can't change the past, but we can build the future. Elizabeth has only one grandmother." Barbara began to cry. Later that night, Melissa sat alone in her study, writing in her diary. "The day my family missed my wedding was one of the deepest pains of my life. But now, I'm grateful. It showed me my own strength. It taught me the meaning of real family. Forgiveness fills the heart more than revenge ever could." She looked out at the quiet, glowing night. "My family skipped my wedding, but in the end, we found our way back to each other."